Welcome everybody to Skull Herder Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Anchor is your all-in-one platform needs. Does whatever you need at one click, maybe 2 clicks because it's like that. But Anchor is sponsoring. Thank you guys so much. Today we got the boys. We got Joseph. We got Charles.
Hello.
What's up, boys? What's up, my boys?
Hey, here's something real quick. Everyone wondering: do people voluntarily plug Anchor, or does Anchor expect people to do it because they're using the platform?
We insert Anchor ads onto the actual audio podcast, but we don't actually put one in the video podcast, and they don't pay us for it. So I'm just giving them a little shout out, a little click, but. Because I forget to mention it in the middle. So
okay.
Yeah, that's it. They don't actually like say on the video side being like, you gotta do this, but like if you want a little change they throw your way, it's like you need to actually put them in. But we have little audio snippets, but yeah, they don't actually tell me I have to do this, but they're just nice.
Right on.
And a little bit more professional. It helps break into podcasts since we don't have James. Man, that man's going to bring that cheddar soon.
How the fuck is he coming back?
I don't know. Maybe he just needs to find the goat milk. Maybe he's trying to find like koala milk.
Maybe he'll be back right
now. James, you suck ass. I was hoping. For those of you who don't know, maybe you're brand new here. We had a co-host. He was actually one of the founders of the podcast. He did what I was supposed to do and bail out after the first like 20 episodes. And then he was like, I'm barely ship, but he's doing it because he has schooling, because he's responsible. Idiot. So now I'm in charge of it. Now I just don't want to leave. It's too nice here. But how has everyone week's been? We kind of started this off weird. How Charles? How's your week been?
I'm pretty good. I met Brad Kozlowski this past Friday when I brought his food to him. I was running food, and also I uploaded the YouTube short that exploded and has over 2,000 views on it.
Nice.
It's like the single most viewed channel since I restarted the goddamn thing.
Right on. Good job. Little soft claps because of audio. Little soft claps. Nice.
Is that it, Charles? I didn't want it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
And also, I've gained a few more subscribers, so now I'm up to 147.
Awesome.
Nice, right on. And we played some Halo last night, so I can't wait to see some of those clips on
I have videos either I forget which one I freaking have it scheduled tomorrow into Wednesday, because I have 2 edited videos coming this week. One's the one from the clips I got from when we played Halo 2 the other day.
Okay. Well, we didn't play Halo 2. We played Master Chief Collection. It's just we got stuck on Halo 2 and Halo 3 for most of the fucking game. So
yeah. You don't play Halo 2. You endure it.
I like Halo 2. I did better freaking playing Halo 2 and freaking Halo 3 than I did in freaking Reach.
Dude, I love Reach. Halo Reach is like my favorite.
Yep.
Like
Halo 2 on Legendary is like
a walk in the park. It's easy.
So I take it you didn't play it on Legendary then. You played it on like, anything else? Oh, multiplayer. Oh,
yeah, we played the multiplayer of Halo Master Chief Collection because Infinite's slowly dying more and more every day. So we just played the Master Chief Collection. It still holds up. I have like 8,000 game modes and different Halos to play all at once. So yeah, we did that. But Joseph, how's your week been?
Oh, it's been a good week. I've been busy. So I had a situation I wanted to share with you guys because I thought some of our listeners who maybe enter into like the freelance space would appreciate how to deal with a certain situation. It's not a bad thing. It's actually mostly good news. So I was able to start up a contract who the hours and the pay very much is equal to the hours and pay that I got in my last position. So I'm pretty thankful for that. So that's the good news. The bad news is that they told me upfront that they won't be able to work with me for too long. It could be a month, it could be 2 months, but they will want to work with an agency. I'm an individual producer. I'm pretty good at what I do, but I'm not a one-man agency. So I said, okay, well, obviously I'll just work with them for now. Gives me some breathing room, so I can, look for some other stuff in the meantime. And then I thought over like, okay, what is the best way to deal with this? How do I get the most out of this? So what I thought was, when the time comes for us to actually look into finding an agency with them, this is something I'm going to actually help them with. Help them find an agency and see if that actually can get me into it even as a subcontractor. Because I know the show very well because I'm working on it, which means that when the agency takes it over, they would need me as like a liaison or a subcontractor, and then I can just do the project management for it. Because you imagine if somebody is coming to an agency with a whole show, which means editing, marketing, promotion, producing, scripting, all of that stuff, that's a lot. And so it might make more sense for somebody to like be half in, half out to work on it. So I thought, well, you know what, that's probably the best way to handle it. Either I get nothing after 2 months, 3 months, who knows, or I find some way to make it work. And this is the thing that I wanted to share is like, don't despair when you get the bad news as well as good news. You want to think of like, okay, here, what do I do to make this into a benefit for me in some way, shape, or form? So yeah, that was that. And then I'm doing some extra editing while I'm at it too. One of them is a very religious show now, and they play
G4?
like this. G4? You think I would work for them?
I mean, do re mi. Make that cheddar. But continue.
Yeah. To talk about like a 2 month long contract. I think.
A couple $1,000 for that 2 months.
Huh? It's possible.
If I didn't despise them, then yeah, maybe I'd think about it.
Principles.
I would just get that job just to sabotage them, honestly.
Oh my god! Oh my god! This man would just get the job to just sabotage
After what
the
they did to
fuck
Tech TV, no mercy for them. So yeah, so like the other one, so the other one is like a religious podcast, and it's pretty neat to work on, just like a different viewpoint that I don't normally get to listen to, and they play this choir song as their intro music, which you would think you would hear at like a funeral for like a bishop or something like that. So at the beginning of every episode, I start weeping before I start working on it.
They play Gangsta Paradise
So
song?
process my grief and then process the audio. That's my new workflow for them. Charles, what was that?
That's bad.
They play Gangsta's Paradise or the freaking Undertaker's freaking theme.
No, no.
It's,
No, but I might pitch that to them. That if they don't realize that, like, just get like the chorus part of it, they could work. That probably would. Yeah.
yeah, probably.
Although I would assume that they would know it from Amish Paradise, if anything. Like they might be somebody who like they heard about the Weird Al version of it, but they've never heard of the original
yeah.
Gangsta Paradise. So for them, they just think, well, this rap is kind of edgy, but it's they use the word Heine in there, like, so. Anyways, very grateful to have these positions, and it's nice to like. I don't actually have to look for work for a little bit here, and I might not have to for a good long while, depending on how things go with this contract. So I feel good. I feel like okay, I'm back to. I'm back to stable.
Good.
I'm just imagining. I'm hoping that Joseph is getting paid like $2,000 for this whole freaking like short-lived deal.
It's good enough. It's an hourly rate, but it's the same rate that I had when I was with Debutify, so it's good.
That's definitely good. I mean, no
Yeah, I
matter
can't
what,
share any more specific than that.
tell us the IP address of where they are. Tell us their
I know
IP
how that whole
address.
freaking stuff like
America.
that. They just go and tell
You're on your own from here.
What were you saying, Charles?
I was just saying that I know how you've told me about how stuff like that is like freaking between you and the people that you're making the whole deals with and everything.
Yeah, a lot of the times that you would actually make pretty good money for doing things like Joseph's doing, but if they give you and I learned this the hard way, they give you a lump sum of money up front, run, just fucking run, because this is what they do. They give you a lump sum of money at once. You sign a contract that states that you work for them for 2 months. Now you have no time to yourself, even though they say you can have your own time. You don't, because they call you at 5 a.m. Guess what? At 5 a.m. you're getting on the phone with them. And they will just control everything for those 2 months because they already paid you. And you can't quit. If so, you have to pay them back the money, but usually there's no loopholes out of that contract. But getting paid hourly, like Joseph is actually a much better deal. So actually, that's a little bit of tip for anyone out there trying to do freelancing jobs. Don't do a job a bunch of money up front. Run or get an hourly rate. And I understand it might be hard for them to track it, but work with them if they are actually wanting you. Like if they're an actual
like
company.
if you're trying to find paid work and you have to choose between a lump sum or nothing, you should take the lump sum and get the experience going. But then try to pivot into an hourly rate format. I've been using Upwork for almost 10 years. I'm a top rated freelancer on there.
Nice.
And it's a fantastic platform. And a lot of people are put off by it because it's competitive. Like it is a worldwide platform. So it's me going up against like potentially hundreds, if not thousands of other producers. So like the fact that I landed something is remarkable. It could be discouraging because I applied to like 50 to 100 different positions there, but like every time somebody puts out a job, that means they hire somebody. When they hire somebody, that means that person is taken out of the job pool, which means that there's now fewer people left to take whatever jobs happen to be available. If I haven't looked for a new job in 2 weeks. Yeah, like week and a half, 2 weeks. If I was still applying every day, by this point I could potentially be overwhelmed and actually not have enough time to manage everything. So it's interesting how it can be feast or famine with it. But I totally agree with you. Like do hourly for all of the reasons that you mentioned. I also find too that with lump sum, it's much easier to mismanage that money. It's more like I might be more inclined to give into some of my badder habits, like going back to my local Starbucks, which I don't do lately anymore. I got into making my own coffee at home, but like, yeah, a lot of bad habits can rack up pretty easily. So like, being paid out little by little is it's easier for money management. And one other thing about Upwork too, a lot of people are also put off by it because Upwork does get a chunk of the money from the service fee. That's how they make their money, which is fine. But what you should know is that once you cross a certain threshold of money, Upwork takes less of a cut. So the first 500, Upwork basically runs rickshaw over you. But once you actually turn into like a more long-term, almost like a full-time position where you get past $10,000, their cut is negligible. So you will make better money for it. So it's not as good of a platform for more like short-term, low-paying stuff. But again, use that stuff, churn that out once you get into higher-paying stuff as well.
Oh yeah, especially when you're getting into like the freelancing jobs and stuff, like you can learn so much stuff by starting with something simple. Let's say it's a small amount, and then you have that company's taking little cuts out of it. Yeah, but now you just learn how to do, etc. And you got paid to learn it versus me. I jumped into YouTube making zero with zero outcomes, with zero everything else, and I was learning just how to do editing and paid more money to learn how to do something.
Yeah. That was me with media 10 years ago. I paid money so that I could do professional work. I used that professional work to find my first wave of clients, which put me into even. And now it's been 10 years of that. I have to continue to upskill, which is something to keep in mind too. You always want to try to like work on new things. As one of the reasons why I volunteered to like start editing this show, because it's very much like, on the forefront of media. So, continue to try to work on things that are continue to challenge your skill set. Don't let your skills stagnate, because that will eat away at your ability to make better money and have better paying jobs. And one last thing, because I know we got some important stuff to talk to, but don't feel like you're not going to make good money as a freelancer. I'm doing okay right now. I'm not as good as I could be financially, but I'm all right. Again, you can make a serious amount of money. One of the jobs that I had applied to was a very simple but very like intricate editing job where you're just silencing out like a lot of small flubs, cleaning out the audio, be very meticulous, trying to turn a podcast into audiobook level quality. But that dude was willing to pay $1,600 for about 4 days worth of work. If I didn't get this guy, but if I got that guy, I would have my entire monthly bills all worked out for 4 days worth of work.
Yep.
Freelancing is a fantastic career opportunity if you're willing to be competitive with it. And I'm not against getting like a full-time position or like even a part-time position with a company. If it's a good position for me, I'll still take it.
Yeah,
But
right deals, everything.
if you want to feel like freelancing is the kind of thing that some people are just made for, and I feel like that's me in a lot of ways.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. Now when it comes down to the freelancing side and like trying to get your foot in the door, I'd say take anything. Yeah, I mean that's really what it all comes down to, is especially when you're not as high tier and everything. Take whatever you can. Take it all as a learning experience and look at it like this: is you're not paying to learn this stuff. Now you're getting paid to learn this stuff. So take it as a learning experience.
Do
and
it for free. Do it at
communicate.
cost if you have to.
Yeah.
Pay money to do it if you have to.
That's how I learned how to do some of the best editing I've ever done, to the point where my videos have a most amazing stats I've ever seen on one of my videos, on one of Brittany's videos, on several client videos. I look at my stats and then look at all the people I've helped them. I'm going, oh my God, I outperformed everyone I know. Like, this is great. And now I'm using it on other people's channels and other people's techniques. And now their click-through rates are from 4% to 13 to 8% to 22. Like, it's working and everything else. So yeah, I mean, definitely just knowledge. Just keep that in mind. Anything you do, learn from it. Pay for the knowledge, do the things. And if you get paid for it, ka-ching, put that in a savings. Print out $1 online on some official paper, hang it up so you don't actually waste money, and then look at it every day going, I made that. Quite literally, because you printed it out on a piece of paper. But you go, I made that. I made that $1.
This is illegal.
Well, don't use it. But yeah. So yeah, that's really cool. So anything else happened in your week, Joseph? Anything else?
Started intermittent fasting.
Nice.
Pretty pleased with it so far. So I'm looking forward to keeping that up. And then, yeah, I just feel looking forward. I feel like I got a good summer to look forward to.
Nice. Yeah, so that's actually a good little segue for me. I usually don't talk into too much on like how my week's been going, but so I've been biking. Yeah, I should, my podcast, but I'm like, nah, I let you guys have the spotlight. And I talk too much. So I've been biking. I brought the bike in last week, for taxes. I got my bike, and for the whole entire week, I ran 7 days straight. And I've hit 17 miles in 7 days. That really good for the first time going. I have not took a break yet. So right now I'm at 27 total miles. I've ran 10 miles in the last 3 days on the bike. So 4 miles one day and then just stacked on top. So I'm hoping to just continue to go higher and higher. As a gamer, I would say it's definitely hard to move around and be more physical. It's definitely more difficult because you're sitting down and you don't realize how much you're sitting. I talked about this on previous podcasts, but when you're streaming for 6 hours a day, or you're working on editing for so many hours, you're sitting down. And I got a stand-up desk and I love using it, but when it's all said and done, when you're someone like me with arthritis, having that resting position is so nice. So you can just rest it and you can just relax a little bit more. So keep it balanced, but definitely.
Are you using compression gloves?
I never got them. I never got them in. I bought them on the link you sent me a while back, and I never received them.
Okay, we'll follow up with the seller, because sometimes they just like they
Okay, yeah,
it does happen. You just gotta follow up with them. Sometimes they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot it was Chinese New Year," or something like that.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna look back into it. I haven't looked back into that since about.
See, it's funny because like this goes back to like some of the e-com stuff we talked about before. How like, look, you can save money if you buy it on AliExpress, but if you're willing to spend a little bit more money with an established brand, you're still buying the exact same product, but you do have a little more accountability. But yeah, like you got to get on that. Like I have arthritis problems too. I will notice that it starts to flare up. So like I've been able to keep that pain at bay with compression gloves. It's going to make a big difference. And you look marginally cooler, at least as far as
with like go. You also have the zinc Link tattoo. So
Zelda tattoo.
Yeah,
there
Zelda tattoo. so that kind of helps out. There's actually a girl at my local market who has the exact same tattoo. I thought
Nice.
that was actually really fucking cool. I was like, oh my God. And then I walked away. I was like, I can't talk to you. Brittany's here. But cool. I don't want Brittany sitting around going, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm just like, you don't understand. You just will never understand. But yeah, so I've been riding a bike a lot recently. I've been working a crap ton on editing. I'm about to release another video seeing who's the best at the game Dead by Daylight. That will probably be in the news in the next few weeks. But we've been recording videos for it, and I wanted to bring it up because there's so many videos that don't stick, and I feel like that's so unencouraging. I don't know if I'm saying that even close to being right, but
Unencouraging.
yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, okay, that works, but usually people would just say discouraging.
Discouraging. Okay, well, so me and my team recorded for 3 hours one day, and getting 4 streamers to sit down for 3 hours all at one time, it's impossible. Like, when everyone works a full-time job and then stream and then have kids and everything else, getting 4 people to sit down at once is impossible. But we finally got sat down. We got people in there. We recorded for 3 hours, and we were like, man, that's great. Let's go. Everyone backed out. And I thought it was a video. I thought it stuck, and I went back through it, and I looked at it, and I went, I no, this won't work. This is something I'm not proud of. I'm not proud to put this out. So, but I think those are really important to see, especially when you're getting into like the editing and everything else. If you don't feel right about a project, don't do it. Especially if it's something that's going to burn your time and burn it for you. Now, obviously, you're working on someone's projects for them, then it's a different story. But I can bring this up because I edit for my girlfriend, Brittany. And so I've been editing for her for like the last X amount of time. And we had a video. She filmed the video. It was great. And I edited it, and I hated every bit of it. I hated everything about what I was editing. And I even told her, like, I finished it up. I showed it to her. I was like, I hate it. I hate everything about this. Either retake it or we throw it away. I told her, like, it's my time. I get screwed with it, but it's my time. I don't like it. I hate it. I hate everything about it. She watched it. She said the same thing. I hate it. But instead of throwing it out, we actually made it work. So what we did was we retaken some of the shots that were necessary. We implemented a voiceover to it. And now it's a video that actually has a pretty high click-through rate, a higher viewer retention, like 78% viewer retention. That's great for YouTube. So a video that was going to be trash may not always be trash. And so, but if you're going to put a lot of your time and effort into it, don't. If it's not something that you feel comfortable at doing, it's not worth it. But I had to learn it the hard way.
Was it trash because just like the content itself wasn't good, or but not to do so much with your technique?
It was, so like for Brittany's end, it was just we kept having camera problems. But for my video, the one that took over 3 hours to just record, the concept was great, but it took so long. The energy wasn't there. I didn't feel like the content was there. So the premise of the video was we're going to have a bodyguards. So it was going to be called The Presidents or The Bodyguards or something like that. And what was going to be was everyone would protect me, get me through this whole entire match with a killer chasing us. I wouldn't do anything. I would be like the president. They were my bodyguards. They get me to the other end. That was the premise of the video. But it took 3 hours, and we didn't even do it right. And we're all just like, it was fun. It was a fun time filming, but it just, when you're looking at the end of it, and you're just like skipping through content, like you kind of get that feel of like, okay, I like this. And then you just get that like gut feeling. You just go, no, I don't even need to watch over this. I can tell you right now, no. And to this day, we filmed that like 6 months ago. No one's thought about it since. Literally no one thought about it since. And the only reason I thought about it, I had to clear up my storage because I'm a man with 4 terabytes in his computer and only have 600 free gigabytes. That's it. So I'm like, okay, I don't delete stuff until I know it's completely done with. But yeah, it was one of those situations where like I knew in recording it, we went off track too much, or it took too many games, or it took too many tries. When you're trying to push so hard to get something to work, it's like the example. We tried so hard to get this to work for 3 hours, but I spent 18 hours breaking 3 world records. But I spent the 18 hours trying to actually accomplish something, not trying to push a concept to work. That's like a game developer saying, hey, we gave you guys a new battle pass, but not at once. Let's give you a little bit. Oh, you're not doing it? Well, here's more. Oh, you're still not buying it? Here's more. It's like, it just won't work that way.
Halo Infinite.
Yeah, Halo Infinite, except they're not giving us anything yet. I'm waiting for it. If they said, like, buy the battle pass and you get a keychain, I'll do it. Like, you can tell me with the keychain.
They added some new modes into the game that's like, really, this is what you're giving us right now?
They added like 3 game modes, and then I think what really killed it was the fact that they did not release a bunch of game modes. They only have like 3 maps, and the game modes you get aren't even that entertaining. It's just not there. But yeah, I mean, that's a good example. Halo was a really good example of that. But that was kind of my week, though. Now, what happened throughout the week actually sparked my eye a little bit. I'm a big fan of a YouTuber named Harris Heller, also known as Alpha Gaming, and he made a video, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, I'll watch this. I actually learned how to set up OBS and everything else from watching him, and he brought up the fact that someone posted a image of a tweet that I thought was fake when I first saw it, and it turns out it was not. So in the recent week, Twitch had some major changes they're going to be doing to their platform, like taking revenue from streamers from 70% to 50%. They're going to be giving streamers a 50-50 cut, and some people are like, that's amazing, that's not good. They were making 70%, but some streamers who are getting on now don't. Now, bits, we all know you really don't make too much money on bits on Twitch, but your subscribers is where you get the money from, because that's the 70-50, or that's a 70-30 split. Well, they're not doing that anymore. They're actually going to be taking that out, and now, so instead of getting $5 for the thing, you're only going to be giving your actual supporter, or you're going to be giving the creator like $2, if that, like $2.50, and that's including after Twitch takes out their cut, and you can't get the payout until the following month when you hit a X amount. So they are making a massive pay cut, and to top this off of how money hungry they are, they're actually going to be making you watch ads. So they're going to be implementing more ads. That already is crazy to watch Twitch, and you see all these ads popping up. Now it's going to be even worse. And then they have a new I'm trying to think of like a tier system. They have a new tier system coming out that no one knows anything about that. And they're going to be having, this is something that I really wanted to talk about, is they're going to be cutting their exclusive. Yeah, the exclusivity. They're going to be cutting that. So now you can stream on Twitch, YouTube, etc. As long as you're not partnered with them. So now that is where a lot of people are going like, that's an awesome change. But that could actually be more dangerous now, because now Twitch also realizes that they're not making nowhere near as much. And they're letting their creators leave Twitch. And not really any repercussions from it. But the reason we're bringing this up is because I want to know you guys' opinions on having more ads on the platform after Twitch bought it for like 40, or after Amazon bought it for like 40 million or something like that. So now they're implementing more ads, taking a 50% cut of what streamers make, and they're also losing their pretty much the one reason that so many people are going to Twitch is because it's the #1 streaming platform. They're now saying, oh, you can now also stream on other platforms. Why you stream on ours? So I want to know you guys' opinions on, let's stick it with the money hungriness, the ads, the cut, the massive pay cut.
Well, the first problem is that Twitch hasn't been profitable yet.
Yep.
That's the main issue that they're contending with. And I mean, Amazon has quite a bit of money. It's a massive company, but it doesn't matter how big a company is if they're not running a charity. They still have to make this into something profitable. And what this shows is a disconnect between Twitch, Amazon, and its creators by not working with the creators to try to find more unique ways to generate revenue. Because players, fans, they're willing to find different ways to support their creators, and not looking into those kind of more creative options first shows that they don't have a finger on the pulse of the community. Like if you look at YouTubers, for instance, one of the great ways that YouTubers can make money is through their live streams. They can earn revenue just by the super chats. Now, super chats you can spend as low as like, I don't know, like $1.99, I think,
Yeah.
or even just like $1. I think is the minimum. But it's up to the user how much money they want to spend. So if they want to buy a super chat for $50, $100, $1,000, they're free to do whatever they like. YouTube gets their cut, but that's what these live streams are for, because it comes back to the users having the ability to actually cultivate the content as well as support it. They're not just paying money to see it, they're paying money to actually be a part of the creative process.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they got into a room and brainstormed a bunch of unique ideas and new ways to generate revenue, or if they just said, no, we just have to go with this. So with this, go ahead, Charles.
Well, they got together that dumbass freaking Twitch council, whatever it was, of people that nobody freaking likes or anything, and freaking people that they knew are problematic ones, freaking probably all agreed on stupid shit. People they knew would piss people off.
I think the problem with Twitch, and I'm gonna take Twitch aside on this because I suppose one of us has to, is I think the main problem fundamentally with this platform is that it costs a lot of money to support somebody who's succeeding, but it also costs a lot of money to support somebody who's not succeeding, who's flailing or worse, failing. Because you have, for every popular streamer, you have 100 of them who are taking up video quality, not top tier video quality, but still taking up video quality for hours at a time, and they're not getting anybody. And God bless every last one of them for trying. I don't want to discourage anybody from trying, but I think the problem is that Twitch is, I think they're trying to turn this into the platform for people who are already prominent, who are already established, and who are basically already winners. And people who don't have that kind of platform, they're probably going to have to look to Facebook, look to YouTube, look to some of these alternative streaming sites to build their fan base. And so then that way they can actually get onto Twitch later down the line, which is going to be the more prestigious streaming platform. And so the one upside to all of this is the whole now you can stream on multiple streaming platforms. I don't know people who, obviously you and I, we both know a few Twitch streamers. I imagine that none of them are going to go onto these other platforms, but I think what it will do is it will give other people an idea of, okay, I can do YouTube, I can do Facebook, I can do Nemo, I can do whatever, I can do DLive, I can do any one of these. And I built up a little bit of a reputation, and then I can make my way onto Twitch. So I think that's their main struggle right now, is that they can't afford to support the up-and-comers anymore.
That's fair. Charles, your opinion?
I just think that the side's pretty much gone down even further since Tim Tatman and Doc Disrespect and a lot of the other big names freaking left, and there's still some big names on there, but freaking a lot of them just didn't have the freaking viewership like freaking Doc and freaking Tim did.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's still a lot of big people on Twitch, but when you have big creators leave, that's where the big issues fall in line with Twitch. Now, what I've heard, and Harris Heller talks about it in his video, and we'll link it down below under this topic. But so what he talks about is apparently Twitch is more, they get more money off of smaller creators than bigger creators. Now, the reasons is because of merch, sponsors, all this stuff. Like, that's how the bigger people make more money outside of Twitch versus the smaller creators. people aren't donating directly to your bank account or directly to PayPal to you on stream if you're a smaller creator, because they have the bits there for a reason. They use a bit. They buy $5 bits. They're like, I'm gonna give this guy a couple bucks in bits, and that's great. And you're supporting your creators. That's fine. But when it's all said and done, Twitch makes more money out of it than the creator will ever make, because you have the transactions fees that Twitch gets out of it. Then you have the fact that Twitch will take a percentage out of it, 50% out of it, out of the bits. And apparently this 50-50 thing's been actually going on for almost the last 8 months now for the newer creators who've moved over. There's a few people that's talked about it, but they thought it was norm. They thought this is what everyone was getting. But yeah, no, but what I'm hoping that comes out of this, and I highly recommend everyone to do this, is a streaming platform called Restream.io. If Twitch does lift this, what I will probably do is I will try to sit there and see how possible it is to stream onto DLive, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Restream on all these platforms for like 14 days straight, 3 hours a day on all of those platforms for 14 days straight, and see what their results would be versus putting your time dedication into one. Because also remind you, if you're using something like Stream Elements or Streamlabs, the system gets a little bit breaky, to say the least, because it can't recognize that you're having all these alerts for different platforms popping up. But I think it's a great idea for smaller creators who are like, I want to grow on YouTube, but I also want to grow on Twitch. YouTube's not there for streaming yet, but Twitch is. Twitch is done with that. Like, they already got it figured out. So if you're trying to sit there and juggle which one you should do, now it's at least nice because Twitch says, hey, exclusivity, or however you say that word, poof, gone. Now YouTube, if you're still in the,
right.
Okay, thank you. So if you're in the partnership program for YouTube, that means it's still there for YouTube. So like Tim the Tap Man, even if he was allowed back on to Twitch, cannot go over because he now has a contract with YouTube. Facebook, once you're in a partnership program, once you're accepts that, guess what? You're still trapped in there. So, and that's how you grow and get ads and things like that. So you still have these other platforms that are still keeping you there with contracts. It's just Twitch says, I'm going to lift it. And I think they're lifting it for smaller streamers because you have to sign that contract out pretty early on. You can have 1,000 followers and have to sign that contract. So it is
now,
what it is.
If I were getting into this, and I were like, 18 or 19, whatever, and I still have like a good few decades to try to sort my stuff out. Mm-hmm. One thing that I would think about is whether or not streaming is the right thing to do to start, because you're going to be spending a lot of time streaming content that might be very easily repurposed, because then you could you can take the video content, you can edit it, but kind of like what you were saying, best laid plans can still fall apart. So to end up with something that's of good quality can take quite a bit of time. So I'm thinking now, if I were to do it, my strategy would be to actually focus on just being a video creator first on YouTube or any of those. Charles is putting his hand up for that very reason. Did you want to say something, or are you just supporting what I'm saying?
That's what I've been doing. I didn't start doing my live streams, reactions to the wrestling stuff for a freaking while.
Right. So if you start by building video content on YouTube, yeah, you could have to stick to a schedule, but it depends on what expectations your fans have. I follow lots of people, they just put out videos whenever they feel like it, and they do fine. So if you focus on just making your video content, you have a lot more breathing room. You can start to build up a fan base from there, and then say, all right, I want to start doing live streaming. You're more comfortable, you know your voice a little bit more, you have an idea of what kind of people are attracted to you or attracted to your content, or both, depending on if you're a looker. And then you can live stream directly on the video platform itself, make your way onto one of these other ones. And then this is where I think they would work very well. So like, okay, let's say I'm popular on YouTube. I'm going to start a YouTube live stream, and then I would use Restream.io to stream out onto all of the other platforms and start fishing for potential fans. But you got to have a base. You got to have an HQ. You got to have somewhere where you expect people to congregate. So you have your Discord set up, maybe a website, but like you do have to have a main somewhere. I think that's still going to be important no matter what.
Definitely. And like for me and a lot of people, YouTube is where I try to lead people to, just because like it's a platform that's established, that it gets people going. Now there's a disconnect, and I actually had this conversation with somebody. So there's a disconnect of what I do for TikTok, and the reason why I do what I do for that is, so with the TikTok, I make the Dead by Daylight clips, for an example, and I lead them to Twitch. And then when I make like other TikToks that aren't really a part of the streams, but it's a video I did, or it's me like I just want to do this, I lead them to YouTube. And the reason is because when I post the stuff from my stream, I'm going to tag my stream for it, because if they want to see content that I'm making like that, that's where they need to go. But if I'm doing, let's say, I'm going to tell people about the adventure of me leaving Facebook to Twitch, that is going to happen. If I start doing that and giving streaming tips, I'm going to lead them to YouTube, because that's where I want people to find me. That's where I want people to recognize me. And if they want to see me live, I won't be on Twitch forever. I've said this many times. I've said it before I went to Twitch. I said it even today. I even said, I'm not going to be on this platform forever. I'm going to be on here until YouTube's established. Once YouTube figure out their streaming end, I will be on there. And Ludwig is helping drastically with that. Ludwig, Dr. Disrespect after the lawsuit. I mean, like, everyone's helping YouTube right now drastically with this. And I feel like Twitch is kind of wanting to get, okay, not Twitch, but Amazon, Jeff Bezos is trying to get their money's worth out of it before YouTube dominates. And right now, TikTok is already dominating the live stream features already, and YouTube's taking notes. They're trying to get caught up, and Twitch sees that they're losing out. I think this is a last chance Twitch has to make their money back before YouTube dominates the platform. And the reason why I say YouTube, not no platform out there for one, there is no other one like YouTube at the moment. Also, YouTube is so established, it's not even funny. It's not on MySpace, it's not on Facebook. YouTube's been able to keep people there for a reason. People go to YouTube for a reason. If it's for music videos, for live streams, for gaming videos, for short content, they're there on YouTube. YouTube's established. YouTube has made it. YouTube has nothing to worry about. Twitch has nothing to worry about except them making money. YouTube has people paying them millions for ads. YouTube's fine. YouTube has their stuff figured out. Twitch is trying to figure out, how can we make money? How can we actually be profitable? And their idea is smaller creators. They want to focus on smaller creators. That's how they make money off it. And they're acting like, we're here for you all. It's not true. They're just trying to get money out of you. And that's why I've never liked Twitch to begin with. Except if you're trying to get into streaming. Dude, Twitch. Highly recommend Twitch. So like, if you need to start now. Don't sit there and go, I don't know what platform I should go to. Start somewhere. If that's Twitch, go on Twitch. Like, start streaming. But I feel like the issue I can see massively with this Twitch information right now is that Twitch is going to find themselves worse, because they're going to lose not just the big people now, they're going to lose the little people, because now you're showing them that the big people were getting this. Now it's cut. So now it's cut. People are going to be like, wait, they were getting this and we didn't? So the platform was already screwing me, and now they're going to put more ads on and everything else. I have a feeling that we're going to see more people move over to YouTube gaming or YouTube streaming, however they're going to do that. I don't think Twitch is going to last for another 3 more years. I think they're going to collapse in year 2. 2024, they're going to collapse.
So you think that like one of these days, like Twitch will just cease to exist? I could go that badly for them?
I think so, because this is something that I feel like Twitch is going to do that is going to hurt them, because they are falling off. Like I said, when you have TikTok that's been made and already have a successful live streaming feature that gets millions of views hourly, and it's so easy to cut to people's live streams, it's so easy to just do this. Oh, someone else that I like that they can recommend to me right in front of my face. TikTok has figured it out. It took Twitch years, and they still can't figure out their algorithm softwares.
So I just realized something. Well, I realized two things. One, if Twitch ends up being the underdog platform, that means I actually can use it. Because if I wanted to be a streamer, I wanted to support the underdog. So if Twitch becomes the underdog, I'm like, all right, here we go.
Joe's gonna be like,
I'm
D-line.
gonna rate everything.
Hey,
So there's
that works. Yeah.
And then on the other side of it, as I think one of the main problems with a primarily streaming platform like Twitch, YouTube is of course it's a video platform that happens to do streaming. Facebook is a social hub that happens to do video content, happens to do streaming. Talk is
Sorry.
Continue.
mobile platform that does a myriad of video content, or is the vertical video content. I like calling them verticals. I hope that sticks, but it also happens to do live. But here's the problem with Twitch is that the draw for an audience is almost always based off of the game and not typically based off the streamer, unless you have boobs. But let's face it, boobs just throw the whole thing off. So we're not gonna talk about that. But like, let's just say, for instance, that I was into if I started playing Fortnite again. Well, okay, Ninja's probably still like the top streamer or whatever. But it's always the game. It's not the personality. There are some personalities that shine through and become more about them than the game. But we've talked about this in the past on this show, is that people expect consistency with their content because they are fans of that game. Yep. So Twitch will forever be at the mercy of whatever happens to be popular. YouTube, you can make a video of whatever you want and you'll find an audience. Like I was digging through like some of my old stuff because I want to start selling off some of my old things, and I found all my old Harry Potter books. I started rereading them. It's still pretty good. And then of course I started looking at like Harry Potter content on YouTube, and there's like a whole treasure trove of Harry Potter content now that the algorithm is showing me that I didn't see even like 2 weeks ago. YouTube will always have a great base because the content is mostly everlasting. There is a lot of burner content out there, but that's okay. Twitch will forever be burner content. There's no long-term value in the content that's made there. It's all burner content. So for that reason, it is very difficult for videos to have any sort of like long-form sustainability, which is bad for brands. If, say, for instance, like I watched an Emperor Lemon video, but it's been like 3 months, he still does a sponsorship for Raycons or whomsoever he happens to be sponsoring. That still benefits that brand. Yep. Brands know this. They know that their name will stick in these videos for years down the line as like waves of people come in based off what the algorithm does. So these are all inherent advantages. And I think this is something that Twitch has to think very carefully about, is how can they start to create everlasting content? How can they start to give people content that they don't necessarily have to watch live, but can still enjoy watching on that platform? And I think a lot of that will fall into creators who can serialize their content a little bit better, make it more episodic, have a little bit more of like a story through it, more like arcs or beats. If there's things that are going on with the creators community and that comes through in the chat, you got to think of something to make that content rewatchable, because for the most part, it just doesn't last very long. The entire platform is based off burner content.
So then, do you think if Twitch decided to add, like, obviously not a TikTok feature, but like add in the opportunity to like upload videos to it, and not saying that it's going to turn itself into YouTube, but do you think if they decided to do something like that, to where you can upload content to there, to where it can stay, not expire, where it can stay up on there, maybe a little clip feed that actually works properly and it's not shit, if it actually has this stuff,
this is a really good question. So
stay?
I'm just gonna go on to Twitch right now. So here's what Twitch does. Twitch is automatically trying to get me to watch whatever happens to be live. So I think no matter what, there needs to be a live component, but we can still work with this. So let's say, for instance, I'm gonna go to your channel, and so let's check out this day by daily stream. So it's the getting ready thing, and then I'm watching your previous broadcast. Now, if your previous broadcasts were like cycling through, so in that way all of your older content was still being played. I mean, to an extent, right? I think videos, they get deleted after like a month or whatever,
Yeah.
but the chat was still there. What would happen is that you would still have engagement, and people could still even potentially show their support through this content that is now semi-live as opposed to live. It's still temporal. It still only has like a month before it disappears, but at least there's a little bit more of like, I have incentive to go and support the people that I'm a fan of, even if they're not there at the moment. I can head on to their channel. I can still watch some content. There's still people that I can interact with. So that's one thing that I think that can do to help. I don't know if that's the cure to this, but there needs to be some way to get people a little bit more involved between the live streams of their preferred streamers.
Okay. Charles, what about you?
This whole thing with Twitch is like they did it pretty much to themselves with everything that's been going on, and all the freaking stupid mistakes that they've been doing, like freaking not dealing with the problematic streamers that have been causing all the problems on that site, but if they go after the ones that aren't even doing anything wrong, like what, the whole thing with Dr. Disrespect, even though freaking the freaking details has come out, there's probably like things that happen on both sides with that whole freaking fiasco, but I don't know.
Yeah, there's
I just don't like the
definitely
fact that they
two
delete the
sides.
VODs after a while.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're kind of like saying is like, for one, they delete everything, so there's nothing on there to keep you wanting to stay on the platform besides watching more live people, and like they delete your past streams, they delete your VODs, they eventually your clips get so buried it's not even funny. They don't make it easy to just play your clips through. It's just no title and
And they've
thumbnails.
also clamped down on a lot of different kinds of content too. Like because they wanted it to be more family friendly. Because if you have an Amazon Prime subscriber for a family, next thing you know, kid hops onto Twitch and they're ending,
They're still letting people do the
For
freaking
the
hot
first time.
tub and bikini bullshit.
That's just an honor to me. There's
so
gonna be a
one
hot tub back
things-
here one
Obviously,
day.
YouTube is in great shape. There's no contesting that. But
Yeah.
there is now a growing parallel economy because a lot of creators from the platform were kicked off because of their views. And these people have taken an audience with them, and places like Rumble or BitChute are steadily gaining, and it's all based off ideology. So if Twitch were willing to be a little bit more open towards like people with different viewpoints, then you would attract more of an audience. I mean, if you commit to one side of any argument, then you've kicked off the other half, and it might not like it's half and half, but it is. So I'm not saying like you have to take the opposite side now, but like if you stay out of it, then at least you have the other half of the audience might be willing to return to the platform. Hence Twitter, for instance.
Yeah. No,
Also,
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say there was like a small thing that freaking thought I'd mention on here. I'll wait till you guys are done.
I'm good. I
Yeah.
got
Go
nothing.
go ahead.
Those who don't know, freaking, they finally showed a teaser for the next Call of Duty, which is one I'm actually looking forward to. A lot more than I was for Vanguard, freaking, because they finally showed a teaser for Modern Warfare 2022. And by that, I mean
Do
Modern Warfare-
developers, by any chance, do they ever stream games on Twitch? Like, they're not out yet, but they're streaming their games to kind of show things how
Nope.
they're going.
I don't know,
that'd be cool.
Fantasy.
That'd be cool. Good way to save them.
That'd be cool.
I know freaking like certain ones like Square Enix and I think certain other ones do.
Yeah.
I know
there's a
AEW is
few.
going to be freaking streaming hopefully something for the game. Finally show something for the game, freaking for the first time in forever. At some point this week.
Here's my final prediction. So Jordan, I'm not quite as like defeatist about it, because you're thinking that like in 3 years it's gonna be like. I predict it's gonna go through a major rebrand. I think Twitch might need to become more of like a neutral thing, not necessarily a video game platform, which is what people think of it now. Because if I remember my history correctly, Twitch was not supposed to be a video game thing from the beginning. It was just supposed to be a live streaming thing. So I think if they can pivot away from just videos and and go more holistic, and so they can encourage live streaming from people in more different industries, then you can attract a much wider audience. So I think right now the whole gaming thing is one of their major roadblocks. YouTube obviously doesn't have that problem. You can just live stream whatever you want on YouTube.
Yeah. Although if you're in your category switch, yeah, 100%. I think if you're right, they're gonna rebrand. I think Amazon's gonna keep Twitch around as its messed up part and make Amazon Gaming or Amazon Live or Prime
like that.
Live.
Well, I mean, I don't like it, but
no, like, so they're gonna
I think that's the right
make
idea.
that. So Twitch is still there. They have a competitor, but Twitch is still there. They have their own platform, and they learn off of what they're currently having. That's losing them money, and now they can only go up from where they're currently at with whatever investments they put into it.
They could call it River because it's the Amazon. If they called it River, I think that would be a very like on-brand name. I'm not trying to be clever. I thought that. Oh, I'm trying to be clever. I'm trying to be cute and funny about it. I'm just like I would consider calling it that. River live streaming. I mean, come on, people.
I mean, that is a good name. Where do you live stream? I live stream from River. No, I live stream in the bayou by the river.
Let me just float this idea past you.
Yeah, you know, I like to sail away from it. But for the to real fast, back up to the Twitch end, so we can move on a little bit from it. So I hope Twitch is still gonna be around. Because it is a good jump start to get you going. A lot of people are like, this is the reason why. Don't say I don't have the equipment for it. Don't say all of that nonsense. You know, just go ahead and do it. If you're gonna go live, go live. If you would have went live a year ago, guess what?
Yeah, unless you're me and your computer actually is an artifact.
Well, stop feeding the dinosaurs and maybe you will, you know, I can't remember that the show's name with like.
Flintstones?
Yeah, Flintstones. Yeah, that's it. I was trying to be clever with that, and I didn't because I suck ass. But you know, just do it unless there's actual things holding you back. But find a way and do it. Because honestly, when it's all said and done, I feel like it's a good thing to start sooner than later, so things like this doesn't happen and it doesn't.
Like, let me say, like, if you want to be a content creator, be a content creator. Yep. That's the thing you don't have any excuse for, because there's 100 million ways that you can make content. I tried to stream. Facebook, I'm not up to it. My computer can't handle it, and I don't want to push it. So I pivoted into just video content creation. I don't have to worry about live streaming, but I still get to make something. So as long as you're making something, you're in the game. If you want to make something and you're not making something, I hope you have like 8 kids or something. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like content. Yeah, TikTok. Like a TikTok takes 10 seconds to make. You have any opportunity available to you to be a content creator. So that barrier does not exist. That part I agree with.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm leading off to is exactly that. Like, don't sit there and don't follow it through because you're gonna get news like this that would deter you. If I was brand new, that technicality, I'm brand new to Twitch, I would be discouraged. I'd be like, why am I doing this? I'm about to take a 30% pay cut pretty much. And for what? Now people are going to have more ads to watch me. So now whenever I see someone join in, I have to hurry up and grab their attention before they are like, the ad's not worth it, and just leave. So it's more stress to put on you, and it's just, man, that's why you need to get started sooner. Don't hesitate. If you, this is what I'm gonna do. If I can sit there and hit my goals, I want to make a whole entire series of streaming on a budget and see what's the lowest budget you can go with good quality streaming. I'm really curious how that would turn out. But that's kind of all I really got for the Twitch side. Charles, you did mention the fact that Modern Warfare or Call of Duty has released a Modern Warfare teaser trailer. Now here's the problem. Here's the massive problem I have with that is that they released it, and one of the biggest things that people will notice is that they're showing zip codes from different countries all around the world.
It's part of the marketing because this game is going to be apparently taking place in different countries. And if you actually paid attention real quick for like a split second before the end of the teaser, you can actually see the TF141 logo.
Yep. Now, here's the issue I have with it is Activision is tanking drastically with their crash of Vanguard, their
Fuck Vanguard!
the plummeting of Warzone. I don't feel like this is going to be any better. I feel like this will be better than Vanguard, but worse than Cold War. So,
I don't. The last Modern Warfare game was actually pretty good. But it was the last good one that they did.
but their record right now isn't great. I think the only way they can actually come back from this is bring back the good old days. If they are able to somehow do that, but right now I don't see it because this game actually been in development for the last 2 fucking years. Even while Activision was going through their nonsense, I don't see this game being any better. I see it being better than Cold War, or I see it being worse than Cold War, better than Vanguard.
It was made by Infinity Ward, and Infinity Ward hasn't made a bad Call of Duty since Ghosts last I checked. Even though Ghost was actually pretty good. Points.
But that's also, like, it just varies. It really does vary on it. Now, I hope it does good, because I do enjoy playing Call of Duty. I actually do get the itch to constantly go back to competitiveness of it. But it's just, no, I would rather not go back to a company that, sexism in gaming, G4. I would just rather, stay away from that side. But
if you ever want to see if making the remaster Modern Warfare 1 is still active, and it probably is, if I have money, I could just freaking buy that game for you, and freaking we can hop on that thing.
Oh, hell no. I've pretty much given up Call of Duty for a while. My sister's trying to get me back into it. Right now, Call of Duty, Activision itself just burns me in so many ways. Burns me just so many ways. Like, their actions of 2021 and 2020 has completely just burned a bridge for me. And one thing I've always said throughout my whole entire career, don't burn bridges if you're not ready for the outcome. They burn bridges. And even though I will obviously, I would play the old Call of Duties, and I'll probably end up playing new Call of Duties. But for content, they've absolutely burned the idea of me ever making content for them again.
It's only okay to burn with the bridges if you hang with the widgets.
If they do a beta for this Call of Duty like they did in Cold War,
Rob Zombie song.
you'll be able to have time to play it.
Burn with the bridges and hang with the...
I get it. I'm a big Rob Zombie fan. I get it. I have.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Really? Okay, cool. Charles,
I just knew that song. I knew that line from that song.
But why that one line?
I like the House of a Thousand Corpses.
What?
Movie he made.
I listened to him on satellite radio. Pretty good. In my BMW.
That's another small thing I heard from a guy and I told you about this the other day, John, when you were playing Halo. A dude I watch on YouTube and sometimes on Twitch, freaking that at one point was a big name and freaking as far as Borderlands and Destiny. At one point, he's made a video like a couple days ago where apparently he said that supposedly Gearbox is charging per minute when you play the new DLC in Wonderlands. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't found anything yet, but freaking I would, with a pinch of salt, I would believe him because he, like I said, he was a big name in Borderlands and Destiny at one point.
See, I have a feeling that might be true, but it also might be false, especially if he does have some bad water between them. Because what would be better if you're a massive name in their area, and if they burnt you bad, you can easily say something like that, and thousands of people would agree, and then immediately stop playing the game because of it, without telling them don't play the game, because that you can get sued for that, and it's not pretty. But you can get in massive trouble with telling people don't play the game. But if you sit there and say you're getting charged X amount just to play it for an hour, and then people might be like, "Oh, I'm not gonna take that chance. I'm not gonna take that chance and leave." So, but I'm curious about that. I actually wanna test that out and see if it's actually a thing. If it is, if it's not, then unfortunately though, it is what it is. Some people with bad blood, like I would tell people don't play Call of Duty, but in the same sense, I'm like, but they are kind of fun if you after friends, hop on some Call of 30, play some games. It's
Yeah,
fun.
like you made your point. You'll always be able to hold out, but like I got burned by Best Buy once because they bricked my laptop and then told me it was my fault, and I boycotted them for quite a few years. But eventually, I'm like, well, I gotta get that PS Move controller from somewhere. I guess I'll get it from the frickin'. I still try to take my business elsewhere if I can, but time passes. You made your point, and
Yeah.
might be time to.
Yeah, and the time will pass for me as
let it
well.
go.
Like, it will honestly pass with me in Activision, but when you have a contract and you follow this contract and you get screwed over from the contract, and then they continue to screw you over, and then you hear all this stuff that happens with them, you're like, wow, they're not just shitty to me, they're shitty to everyone. So it will take a minute to me to get to put my toes back in that water. But until then, though, real fast, Joseph, you said about a Best Buy story. I actually have one. So I got a G7 laptop. So my G7 is the best thing I've had. So when I travel or do any editing on the road, I bring this massive beast. It's a Dell G7 with a 1090 graphics card in it. It has an Intel Core 7 processor, 16 gig RAM. It is great, and I absolutely love it. Hulky battery life. It is amazing. But when I first bought it, it did not have Windows installed at all. Now, this was before I knew anything about computers. So I just quit my job at Amazon. This laptop was $1,000 at the time, but I got it on sale for like $800. I was like, oh, $800 for the laptop. Bought it, went home, turned it on, black screen. It did not have Windows. Did not have a load up, did not have anything to it. I'm like, okay, I bring it back to Best Buy to get them to install Windows on. They're like, it's broken. We can't do anything about it. Huh? You just download Windows. Like, no, it's not that simple. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, cool. Can I replace for another one? The only one we have is the one that only one we have is the G7, but it's not on sale anymore, so you have to pay the $1,000 for it. I'm like, what the fuck? Why? How did I go 800? And I'm like, oh, well, I would like to at least exchange it. Well, you can't because it went up. When is that a thing? And this is 100% happened. I think Brittany still has the video of this happening. Like, this happened. They were like, well, you say, okay, there was an open box. That's why it was on sale. But it was an open box. They fucked up. They did not reinstall Windows on after factory resetting the computer. After they opened it up to make sure it worked, because at Best Buy, when you work there, you have to open it up, test it out, blah, 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 make sure everything's good with it, and you reseal it up, and they're always an open box. That's why if you go in with a new PS5, guess what? There's at least one open box PS5. They'll try not to sell you at first, but they will eventually sell it to you. Paid $800 for it because it was in the little rack area, and because I needed to exchange it for a brand new one, they made me pay the extra $200 more. That at the time I did not have. But luckily though, Brittany, amazing, and she was like, "I got you, boo," and I was like, "Thanks." So ended up getting it, but yeah, Best Buy screwed me over like 3 different times. In my personal favor, we're getting dash cams for the vehicles. And on the website, it's like, this store has it. Go to that store. Oh, we don't have it. Calls up the other store. They have it across town. Okay, cool. Drive the other end of Kansas City. Get there. They're like, oh, we don't have it. But this store up north has it. And we're like, what the fuck? No joke. We literally went to all 4 Best Buys in Kansas City, and no one had it. And we went back to the first one being like, they said you have it. Have what? The dash cams. These ones? Like, it happened to us, and that was the last time we've been to a Best Buy. We absolutely
Can I just
hate
tell
Best
you that,
Buy.
like, I would still want to move to America, but your country scares the shit out of me. And you know why? Because I always get this feeling that, like, no one is obligated to actually do their job in the States. It's all a matter of, like, whether or not that person individually is a decent enough human being that they'll, like, help you. That, like, if anything goes wrong, no company will ever, like, actually support the customer in any way, shape, or form.
So here's the thing: is you only hear about the negative stories because the negative story is what people want to hear. So you only ever hear the negative stories about it. Versus positive stories, like I can't tell you how many times like people were so nice to me in Micro Center and everything. Okay, Best Buy just sucks ass, but everywhere else was so great and stuff. Like you don't hear those because for me it's just every day in life. But when something different happens, like someone's a jackass, it stands out to me. I'm like, you should be that way. This is America. You shouldn't be that way. But you know it is. You only hear the negative. I will say though, there's a lot of really, really nice people here, and a lot of people that work with companies. Like I talk so good about Fafine Technologies. Like they are a company out of China, but they have people in America here, and they are the nicest fucking people. Like they've sent me literally my first microphone ever before I even started YouTube, before I started the streaming thing. Like before I started gaming, they sent me my first microphone. Like they were the nicest company ever to reach out to me. And then that led into the toners people. That led to Samsung to Apple. Like there's so many people out there that are really, really, really nice. And I mean, you just don't hear about it because they don't be assholes. So, but I will say this: scam callers are the best, by the way. If you pick up, just say, can you help me shave my butthole? They'll hang up every time. I saw it on TikTok once.
I don't know if we'll have time for like our last article, so I would rather just tell you like my telemarketer story real quick. Very interesting sales technique, which is like he must have talked to me for 10 minutes without ever asking me if I was interested. He just took the fact that I was still on the phone as an implication for it. So it was like, when I put you on the line to my supervisor, well, we're going to set you up with this great program, and you're gonna start making the money. So 10 minutes have gone by, and finally says, so can I put you through to the manager? I said, well, no.
No.
What do you mean no? Well, you never asked me if I was interested or not. You just talked for the last 10 minutes. I said, so he said, so you've been wasting my time. I was like, well, I mean, you've been kind of wasting your own time. He's like, motherfucker, and then he hung up.
You're like, you motherfucker! Oh god!
I actually got him to call me that. I was like,
oh
I'm proud
my
of myself.
god, dude,
Yeah.
that reminds me of like vacuum cleaner men back in like the fucking 90s, where they'd be like, oh, you want to see how this vacuum works? Like, no, not really. Oh, come on, only take a second. They take it, they clean your fucking rug, and they actually do the whole rug. They're like, oh, see how clean the rug is. Do you want to buy a vacuum cleaner? No. What? you let me test it out. You didn't say do it face. So, but
oh, sorry, yeah, one other one. Then this one's also really good too. So, every now and then I'll get people who will like they'll try to pitch me on upgrading my podcasting website, echopodcasting.com, which by the way I'm phasing out because I'm just consolidating it into giantenemycompany.com.
fair.
But every now and then people will call me telling me to like redesign my website, and one of these guys, he calls me and I'm not in a good mood that day, so he's like, yes, is this Mr. Joseph Lani? Typically when people get my last name wrong, they think that the capital I is a lowercase L, so they think I'm Lanny. Yes, could I talk to Mr. Joseph Lani? Like, yeah, this is me. Yes, I'm looking at your website, ecopodcasting.com. I think it's Echo Podcasting, but continue. So yes, I'm looking at the website, sir, and your website is not professional. And so I say in response, don't tell me my website isn't fucking professional. Fuck you, and I hang up the phone.
I mean, that's what I would have done. I would have been like, you freaking telling me my shit's not professional, buddy? Fuck off, you freaking Indian bastard. Hang up.
Would have just said that, but I was doing the impression, so I'm just as guilty as you are. But like 2 weeks went
Oh my
by
God.
before I realized what it must look like from his point of view. I was like, oh yeah, I told him his website wasn't professional. Oh yes, and what did he do? He told me to fuck off.
I read the script. I read the script.
I guess it fit the bill. It's like, you'll tell me I'm not professional. Fuck you.
So but I mean what else would you do if someone literally sits there, looks at my channel and says, your videos fucking suck? I'm going to sit there and tell the guy off. I'm not going to be like, what can I do? What can I do, sir? How can I change it? How can you make this happen? Mr. Scam Likely? Like, how can you make this work? Oh, man. Charles, any weird, like, customer experience or customer service experience or stuff like that?
Other than freaking dealing with elderly, freaking crotchety old assholes that freaking can't be patient for more than like 2 seconds to freaking wait for a goddamn fucking custard. Freaking not really.
Ooh.
Freaking all I said they have to deal with people like that to freaking talk shit about. Fuck off, asshole! But other than that, like I was saying, freaking sometimes I have to deal with somebody freaking leaving a comment in my videos, freaking talking shit about it, freaking whatever, and it's like, buddy, you know I can freaking just delete and freaking remove your comment, pal.
Yeah, I see. I just don't get. Only negative comments I get is people tell me to die. That's it. Like,
it just come from whenever I'm freaking voicing my opinion on something like wrestling or NASCAR because I like certain ones, you know, because I freaking don't agree with the freaking bullshit like freaking of these freaking WWE drones that freaking freaking support this freaking sports entertainment bullshit, but then rag on freaking AEW when it's like, I haven't made a video on your fucking bullshit company in how long, and you guys are freaking talking shit about my freaking show.
I will say this. The fact that some people will like sit there and state, you know, and I really love this is when people will be like, oh yeah, well, you know, you're responding to someone stating their opinion. You're like, well, my personal opinion, and they just fucking roast the shit out of you, and it's like, but you know, that's just what I think. And it's like,
Or you know, on the one hand, it's, you know, it's garbage and has no redeeming qualities, but on the other hand, you tried.
that's the review of this podcast.
It's just
Like,
the thing with
you
the
guys
internet
tried.
these days that I freaking hate that
I
you
know.
can't have
We have at least
with the
a
internet
redeeming
these days,
quality. I know the prerequisite is like 5, but you know what? Come on.
It's just a thing I hate about the internet these days, where you can't have an opinion that's different than everyone else's. Because God forbid, especially on Twitter, freaking, if you have a different opinion, or you see something a lot of people don't freaking agree with or like for whatever fucking reason, you'll never freaking all you'll see is just a wall of freaking messages freaking on your shit, freaking saying to fucking kill yourself, and it's like, buddy, there are people that will do that if you leave that kind of shit on their wall.
Yeah, well, hopefully Elon Musk will put a helping hand to that. But also like maybe not the helping hand to the toxicity.
Save us, Lord Elon. Save us.
Save us, Lord Elon. Lord Musk, please save us.
Hey, Elon, when are you gonna build that freaking rocket ship to the freaking so we can travel to another galaxy?
I don't want that. I want the $20,000 cars he promised. Like, that's what I want. I want to pay $20,000 for an electric car. But
Both
people
of you
keep
back up. Flamethrowers. Flamethrowers. No, he made a flamethrower.
Yeah,
Although
not a
his
flame.
admittedly,
It's
his
not a
very good.
flamethrower.
There were a better one.
It's not a
I had a
flamethrower.
reference to it in Borderlands 3. Like, literally, there was a whole Twitter exchange between Gearbox and Elon, where like freaking they asked him if he wanted to, they can have a shit reference in the game. And he was like, "Yep," and they put a reference into it.
Yeah, he's a big gamer. He played like the original Call of Duties and stuff. Like he was a big gamer growing up in his country. So I mean, fucking bet. I mean, good for him. Obviously, we're all big gamers here. But
I've been hearing bet a lot lately, but it's kind of new to me. What does bet mean?
where else do you hear it besides me?
TikTok.
Bet just pretty much means like okay or cool when you're responding to someone. So it's like another way to say like bet. I use it a lot just because like I don't know, it's easy for me to say it because when I was working in security, my response would go, yeah, I understand, or I can understand that. And people would get so pissed off at me because of it, because they're like, you seem to understand a lot. Like, yeah. You gotta understand where I'm coming from, though. So so now I just say bet whenever I'm responding to someone, because at least then it's not the same thing I've done through 3 years of my life. That, and I'll also say like, if someone says something fucking stupid, I'll go bars.
Hey, wannabe gangster and rapper on TikTok right now.
Hey, you know they're gonna call me Little Green. The little green man, the 6'3" green man. Wait, isn't that just the beanstalk dude?
The green giant. There's a That guy scared the shit out of me as a kid, by the way.
Yeah, dude, that guy was no. Who scared the crap out of me was the episode of SpongeBob, the hash slinging slasher. That scared the shit out of me growing up. No,
How did that scare you?
because I grew up watching like fucking weird things. The dark scared me, Charles. I need you.
I know what scared me when the first time I seen it. When I first saw the freaking flood in Halo 1, I was like, "What the fuck is that? Freaking shoot and kill it for the."
So little tentacles scare you, but a fish holding a knife doesn't. Actually, what scared me the most was the vampire at the end flicking the lights, because SpongeBob was like, then who was there flicking the lights? And then it's like Dracula flicking the lights. Like, that scared the shit out of me.
Nosferatu?
Yeah. Scared the shit out of me.
At least the flood is actually fucking scary if you never met them before. Now it's just like, yep, here's the freaking zombies of this franchise.
See, I think of the flood like, you know, anime titties. You don't always want to see them, but when you see them, it's an experience. That's, you know what, I'm gonna use that from now on. But our podcast is running on way long enough. So any last final words? This has been, like, if anything, like the streaming slash social media podcast for this week. So is there anything that you would say to an upcoming creator who wants to get started? Like, anything to, like, motivate them to get going?
Nothing that I haven't said throughout the entirety of this episode is if try to be a content creator first and transition into streaming. If you don't have a base, so try building a base first. That could be a viable strategy. Work within your means, figure out what kind of content you can create, and then start from there. And yeah, I think those are the two things, and they kind of like they coincide with one another. So both of those, and then don't be afraid to spend money on it. Like, do professional quality work. That's more important than anything.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah.
For anything else, just do what I do and just do whatever the heck you feel like and see how that freaking turns out. And freaking if later where you freaking see you built an audience, and then you decide to start doing like certain things like what Jordan does on Twitch with Dead by Daylight, then freaking go ham.
Yeah. I will say, watch the people you want to become. So I don't want to become Mr. Beast, but when my career lines up, all I've wanted to do since day one was to give to others. So in a sense, I'm watching the person I want to become, and I'm taking what they're doing, I'm using what they're doing. So I'm not mocking Mr. Beast. I'm not stealing his ideas. I'm not stealing anything what he's doing. He's my template, and I'm using him to teach myself how to go forward. So I'm watching the person I want to become. And I feel like that's so important, because if you don't know who you actually want to be kind of basing off of, editing does nothing. Recording does nothing. Live streaming does nothing. If you don't have that goal to where you want to be or who you want to kind of run yourself after, even if it's someone that you're like, I want to be this character that I've done by myself, you still need that side of like how to make that character. So is it someone from a TV show? Watch the person you want to become, because that's more important than anything else. Like, I would love to be a part of Rooster Teeth, but editing like Achievement Hunter, there's like no editing involved. So no, but when I'm looking deeper into it, I see what Mr. Beast is doing. I've always wanted to give back. I've always supported charities and everything else, and I forget to write them off on my taxes, so my accountant is gonna hate me in the future. But that's kind of. Go ahead.
I'd like to be a part of Rooster Teeth and Achievement Hunter 2, if anything, so I can be the one that brings back the Rage Quit series Michael used to do.
I don't think they'll bring those back, unfortunately. I feel, because last time they tried, I mean, okay, they brought it back and everyone loved it, and then they said, no, let's let it die. I don't understand the marketing for Rooster Teeth. I really don't. But you know what? I really want to meet him one day. Hopefully, I will see him at RTX next year. But
Michael's like my favorite person on the whole group, mostly just because he's like me. A lot of reasons why I freaking rage at video games because of how he used to rage at video games all the time. It also turns out he's also a brony too, but that's beside the point.
I don't rage at video games. I just act. I don't get mad. There's no reason to get mad. It's a video game. It's a video game. There's no reason to get mad. But if you want to get mad and watch people get mad, Charles, where can people find you?
If you like just watching whatever random shit I freaking upload whenever I upload a video, you can come watch my slowly but steadily growing YouTube channel, CJ the Lone Wolf, which has a freaking YouTube short with over 2,000 views, and I still cannot believe that fucking short blew up so much.
Nice, CJ and Lone Wolf. I want to write you a script one day and have you read that, and then like go 3 podcasts reading the exact script. I want to see how that turns out. Joseph, where can people find you?
They can go to giantenemychannel.com. Oh, sorry, giantenemycompany.com. They can see an amalgamation of what I do. What? I just corrected myself. Yeah, I get like 2 plugs in. You're like, oh, there's this guy.
Like this guy.
I don't.
Fucked up, Joseph. You fucked up.
Thank you.
So.
I do your proofreadings. Don't tell me about fucking up.
Whoa. Cut the cameras. Cut it all. I've said it many times on the podcast. I will autocorrect because I'm working in such a rush. Like, even though Joseph's taken over so much stuff, I still like
robotic on my
such
end.
rust. Oh yeah, everything's crashing. I'm pretty sure a tornado is about to strike my house. So, Giant Enemy Company, right?
That's it. Yeah, and you can go wherever you like from there.
Nice. Yeah, I benched some of your older content, and it still holds up for today. Like, and I watched your one video you referenced. I think it was last week or the week before that. Your live stream previously, where you said you were chroma key and stuff. I watched that one. I think I gave you like 50 minutes of watch time. So. Yeah, big fan. But for yours truly, once my screen gets a little bit better, you can find me at Skull Hunter Games anywhere. You can search up Skull Hunter Games on TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, OnlyFans. Maybe. If I'm on OnlyFans, I'm not getting the money. So if you see Skull Hunter Games on OnlyFans, tell me. Just don't pay for it. I don't know what you're gonna see, and just know I'm like a turtle. It takes me some time to grow. Okay.
You're not tired of get your freaking thing trademarked.
I will eventually. Okay, it's a growing process. Like any photos you might see on OnlyFans. But we're gonna be making a TikTok series, actually showing you guys the progress from going over and then actually give you some streamer tips that not a lot of people talk about for different softwares and what you would need for a computer to run those softwares. So we're actually gonna be trying to lean in more towards TikTok content. Thanks to my buddy here, Joseph, for actually kind of opening my eyes to it. So we're gonna start working on that in the following week. And where can you find the podcast? Well, Skull Hunter Podcast anywhere you find it. And right now, because of Anchor, you can now watch the video podcast on Spotify. Because Anchors are sponsored to the podcast. They've helped us out so many times. And now you can upload your video podcast. They extract the audio from it, and they still distribute all the stuff for you besides YouTube and Facebook. So Anchor is doing God's work, to say the least. So I don't have to go
How
and
convenient.
Yeah, it's so convenient. You could just kick on your camera, like on your phone, kick on your camera, record a podcast about you talking about the next Lego movie coming out, hypothetically, and put it up, upload it there. They take care of the rest. So Anchor is a wonderful place to go to if you're starting a podcast. Like Anchor, you can find us anywhere. You can search up our name, Skull Hunter Podcast, is where you can find us. Audio, video, doesn't matter. And if we talked about having links in the description below, you can head down there. While you're down there, that's where all of your boys will be, including James' Twitter account, because we still love him, even though Daddy ain't coming back. Daddy's not getting that milk. He's gonna bring us curds. But that is a Skull Hunter podcast. Dude, I love cheese curds. I love me some curds. So James, please come back. That is a Skull Hunter podcast. Charles, go ahead and scream us out. But for all, goodbye, everybody. Woo! Thank you.
That was the wrong one, by the way. That was supposed to be the freaking Gangster's Paradise.
What the fuck? It's the wrong one.